to another episode of Devil's Den Radio. I'm your host, DevilJon. As usual, I have hippies. My lovely soul is ironically going to the dispensary. So, that's kind of funny, right? So it's like, where did you hide her? No, she ran off to the dispensary. They're like, yeah, sure, buddy.
But that's okay. I think that's an excusable.
And that voice that you do hear, though, is Hippie Mike.
That's me.
Yep.
Woo.
I kind of felt like in the beginning there, it was like, where's your wife, John? It's like, she took the kids, the dog, she took it all.
Sound like a country song.
Yep.
She ran off.
She ran off because I cheat, I lied. She cried and broke all my shit.
Yep.
Hey, man, if it doesn't work,
Slumpkin King.
Yeah, I should do that like Conspaz, but let's do some bills.
Why don't you?
That means go to patreon.com/devilsdenradio, take stock in the show like our good friends Shane and VeganJosh, the two that give us some dough, alright? So then, obviously Patreon takes their fees and shit, but every single penny goes towards the show, alright? Podbean charges us, I think, like it's not too bad, actually. It's we were grandfathered in with that audio shit. So we only, but still, there's still shekels coming out the pocket here. But, if this becomes a self-sustaining show, we can put more money into the production, people.
Mm-hmm.
But, working on that, by the way. I got the Mac operating with, other functions and all, but it still doesn't want to fucking work on my interface, bruh.
Yeah, there's got to be...
I don't know. It's
some setting that we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
So if anybody out there knows anything about how to fucking, and I feel like every time I've tried to hook up a new DAW, I've dealt with this issue.
Yeah.
I always, for some reason, the mic doesn't work.
Check the links, devilsdenradio.com too. But most importantly, every single time I've used the Focusrite, right? It didn't matter if I used it in mine. I was taking it back and forth for a while until Pogo City had their own shit going, and then he bought all his own gear, and then had Pogo City 100% over there. So there was no going back and forth with shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Bad Luck, if you remember, I was bringing the board and my fucking interface
every week. You're
every
lugging
single
that
week,
thing up and down those stairs.
Yep. In my road case, and I was just like, okay, I got my road case all full with my mics and everything like that, so I got it down to that, that in a backpack.
Yeah, man. I do the same thing with my live stuff. I used to just throw it all in my car, not in cases and stuff like that, but I need handles on things so I can carry that shit.
I did have a case. I have the hard case. The God forbid hard case. That's what I was using for a long time.
That's a monster case for that board too.
But it has. But I was able to put everything in it.
That's true. You do, and then you had that bucket with all the wires and everything.
Yep. Had the bucket with the wires.
No, it's important to be able to get your gear as transportable as possible.
Yeah, it's heavy, but it's one trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still can't. I'm still 5-6 trips with all my fucking percussion gear.
Which shout out to Bad Luck Radio, because that's some of the episodes are still available on Spotify, because I guess some of them were backed up, I guess, or I don't know what the RSS feeds deal is, because I know that the publishing of it, it just defaulted on payment, so so it's done with publishing from the RSS feed. But I don't know how, if it just stays, if you put it out there and you paid for it already, if it stays out there or if they can pull it.
I don't know, but anything that's out on the internet's out there forever. So maybe the SEO thing. It's just like buried down in like a Google search.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but I did listen to an old episode, and I was like, oh shit, listen to us on the old show.
Mm-hmm.
Which, a lot of the elements of Devil's Den Radio was, like, just, like, quickly imported into that, though. And I, like, did interviews with, Tito, I did, I think I even had Corey on that show.
Was he on that show? I remember him on this show.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm trying to think. I was like, it might have just been this show. Because I have always promised them more and more, guests and stuff, but then, like, the conversations that we were doing just were, like, kind of interesting, but it was like the narcissist, a pessimist, and a hippie. It's like, oh, shit.
That's an interesting group of people.
You know what's funny, though? Like, I don't want to just breeze past that, one, because it's like, oh, well, did you just self-proclaim yourself as a narcissist?
I was wondering, I that's what was going on in my head. I'm like, all right, I know I'm the hippie. I don't think you're a narcissist, so you must be the pessimist in this scenario.
You think so?
Are you a narcissist?
I have narcissistic tendencies, just like every other human being. But I guess because of the fact that I'm willing to acknowledge it at times, and because of certain attitudes from my conditioning from upbringing, I guess you could say it's very narcissistic tendencies, because it's a dog eat dog, survival in my brain.
I've never gotten the impression that you were trying to, like, take advantage of me in any way.
No, there's the survival aspects, like, where you're like, hey, I could take, not take advantage, right? But I see sustainability with this situation.
Okay.
And I think that, that perception of it is blown up into, oh, well, you're automatically a narcissist because you're exploiting the situation, and you're very well. You're very well.
Become a buzzword.
Yeah, where it's like, you just want to throw that out there so that, like, you can, like, throw a victim card, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it's a heavy word to be thrown around too, because, like, if you've ever actually been around a narcissist, like, they'll fuck your world up.
Yeah. And and I think that's where the misconceptions, of the word, and I don't get it. Like, where's the fact check on that? You know what I mean? Like, somebody can just be like, you know what, Hippie Mike, I think you're a narcissist, and it's like, but I'm not. That's exactly what a narcissist would say. They wouldn't own up to it.
No, they would definitely not own up to it. But when you call them out or really actually challenge them, point out the facts that make what they're saying incorrect, that's when they, like, short circuit. You know what I mean? But in a sense, you're smacking the bee's nest, so they kind of dial it up. And I don't know. I just rather avoid it altogether. So I don't know. You start sniffing that stuff out. Just I don't know. I don't need to be friends with everybody. You know what I mean?
I don't think that hello, Evelyn. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Welcome. We're talking about, the buzzword of narcissist. So if you want to chime in, by all means, type away.
It's kind of what we landed on. I don't know.
Yeah,
we didn't intend on talking about that.
Well, no, it kind of weighed on me a little bit, because I was thinking about it when I was scrolling through social media, and I was like, wow. We use a lot of words misappropriately.
Oh yeah, it pisses me off.
And
such a pet peeve.
But then it gets, like, so much likes and, like, so much, like, attention, like, kind of, like, with comments and stuff to feed into it, that if you try to correct it, then you're like you're a villain now. You're victim shaming or something, or, insert, some buzzworthy, type of, word to make you a villain. To
Yeah.
villainize you.
Yeah, so it's called an ad hominem attack. Essentially, the way I interpret that, it's if your argument isn't enough, you start to attack the person. And when I start sensing that, anyway, you've essentially lost the argument at that point. But you don't know it, or you're not willing to admit it. But once you cross that line and now the ad hominem attacks start happening, you're not going to resolve anything. That's kind of what I learned. It's beyond two people who are having a conversation with the possibility of some kind of understanding or even agreement to disagree.
Gotcha.
That's what really pissed me off in the political spectrum, in the political discourse that was happening nationally. Globally, really.
Meanwhile, so much airflow has knocked the Rick and Morty poster almost onto your head, so right over there.
Oh.
It's like so
Did that just happen, or has that just been sitting there like that?
No, it just happened.
I didn't even notice it.
I was like, oh man, he didn't even notice. It's
nope,
funny.
Didn't even notice. It's too busy yapping
am I really that old that I think that, like, I just, like, what, this social media thing's not for me.
I really dialed it back.
I noticed that, and
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna have to talk about this on the show because, not that, like, I've already taken, like, a severe step back. You know what I mean? Like, usually, like, you would see at least, like, a bi-daily post in a sense, of sorts from me. Not at all on Instagram. If anything, it's just usually backhanded shit to throw at people. Because it's like, that's all I see in my feed anyway, is people just being, like, subtle, about shit. And it's like, oh, I could be backhanded shit with too, and just, like, make your brain go down a trail. It's like, are you talking about me? Am I talking about you? Or am I talking about something else? Or am I just saying something random just so that people's brains go, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
And that's even more, honestly, I think that's more fun than anything, to be kind of like a troll, in some people's eyes, to this fucking stupid social media game. Because it's a game. It's a game. It's like, it's fucked up in the sense that, like, for the same people that are like, let's just take something very simple as women's suffrage, right?
Okay.
Stupid! We do not want to end women's suffrage. And every member of Devil's Den Radio will co-sign that, I'm pretty sure of.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, there are the people that will be like, but what about women's rights? And it's like, dear, sweetheart, bless your heart.
Yeah, it's just like, I just said that, but since I didn't use those words, I'm not in total agreement with you in some reason.
Yeah, and that's why, when it comes to, and I hate to, but I just want to trickle it in. When it comes to, like, the political landscaping of things, people have their painted pictures of what things are,
From their perspective. And I think the important thing that we've forgotten is that this country is really fucking big, to the point where there's a lot of different cultures, subcultures within our culture. And what's good for some may not be good for everyone, but may not be detrimental either. But that's the thing. It's not going to be 100% about you every single time. But I'm not in, thankfully I'm not in a position where I need, like, government support in things. But if I were in that position, I would really like to know that it's available if I need it. And the thought of it being reduced to the point where it's barely even useful is terrifying even to me, and I don't even need it right now. But what if I did it someday? And the people that do need it now, it's got to be terrifying. I have a lot of friends who, over the years, I've met a lot of people who maybe don't have all the correct documentation, and I have great experiences with them, and we've even talked about politics.
Yeah,
they're interested because they actually have a vested interest. They're here now because they want to be.
Yeah, and
maybe they want to help their families at home too, but they are also trying to. They kind of like got here first, and then are trying to make it official to stay here.
So to play on your concept, not to interrupt you.
No.
But so you see the one tapestry here. It pays homage to our native folk.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
And there was a controversial move done by Ben and Jerry's ice cream on the 4th of July. Did you take notice?
I did notice that. I didn't read too much into it, but I did notice it.
Okay. So, obviously you picked the wrong day. Like even like the people that are like on the fence about shit, where they're like, we say America that day, okay? We say America. Why? Because we're fucking American. And you know why? Because there's a lot of motherfuckers that say America in America. And that, you know what? And on Independence Day, guess what? Woo! America.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's American.
Everybody's American that day. You know why? Because we got independence that day.
I remember working with a guy. He was not documented, but he was, while he was working, he was trying to go through the process, and it does take a while. And I wound up even writing him a letter of recommendation, from the job, because he required it. And I'm like, I'll be happy to write that for you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good people out there.
So,
it doesn't matter where you're from.
So, but back on that same thought pattern, like, I don't know. I see the sentiment, though.
Yeah, and it doesn't apply to everybody. I mean, there's always going to be...
But I implore you to think about it this way, right? Aren't the migrants from the Panama, Guatemala, and Mexico area coming into America again not the same people that many moons ago were forced out into those same desert areas?
You mean the people coming back were originally here?
Correct.
It's ironic, isn't it? Well, that's not the right word, but...
It's not ironic, but it's like... you could almost say, like, it's like, they're coming back to reclaim.
Can you blame them?
No. And that's why, like, when I see... Let's take my Mexican friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's very distinguishing facial features, right? Until you get down there in Texas. Mm-hmm. Then you see all types of like high cheekbones. Then you see my friends with the chubby cheeks. And I'm like, why do you have so many facial structures? And it's like, oh, because of this assimilation of the other fucking tribes and shit that got pushed out into the fucking goddamn desert. And what, did they not go south and was like, well, we can either fight off and basically die of, bullshit here on a small square? But then the tribes got smart here and were like, you know what? We're gonna take it back by the casinos. And if you remember on Bad Luck, remember they bought like, I think they own some Hard Rocks now.
Oh, you're talking about Wind Creek?
Yeah,
it is a company that owns like those types of things. Yeah, they just go around buying.
Yep, and it's tribal owned. So
honestly, good for them.
And if you remember the statement, and I hope I'm not paraphrasing, and I'm saying it as a direct quote, so I quote, "Buying it back one cheeseburger at a time." And I thought that, and see, I believe we laughed the same. Like, it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Over time, it
over
could
time,
work.
Yeah. Yeah. Capitalism, man.
That's basically the definition of capitalism. You know?
But, you know, I guess I used to have a soapbox over there.
Yeah.
And I guess we brought that in too. But I was feeling a little nostalgic a little bit because I got hit with an old episode. And I was like, what the fuck? So what the fuck is this?
Yeah. We would get pretty deep. Those conversations were really wild, though.
Yeah, they were really all over the place. Long.
Those were long fucking episodes. 3 hours, I remember.
They were dissections.
Ugh.
About a lot of random shit to the point that it's like, why do you guys still have a podcast? You probably already talked about everything in the fucking world in a 2-week period.
Yeah.
Jesus. Like we could have released those more episodically, you know, and
for sure,
you know, and just broke it down. But we just oh, here you go. Here's
did we honestly think someone was sitting down
episode
for 3 hours just to listen to us talk?
No, I did not think that. That's why I always try to argue for an hour, you know, even though I know 45 minutes is max.
Yeah, I'm fine with anything.
I mean.
An hour or less.
Because if you push it for that last 15 minutes, then you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you like us.
That's true.
Yeah, man. You know, and that's why I was like, yeah, it's for the homies. And you know, and that's for you know all the you know peoples. You know what I mean when I say the homies. Everybody's like, "What are you just talking about?" Dudes.
Everybody's a homie.
Everybody's a dude as well.
I'm a dude.
She's a dude.
I forget the rest.
And he's a dude. Because we're all dudes, yeah. It's fucking Ed. And you messed up the fucking... and then I pass it to you and you're like, yep.
Yeah.
Dead silence. We can see the fucking waves right now.
I forgot the word. I thought it was he's a dude, but maybe it was
I'm a dude. She's a dude. And he's a dude. Because we're all dudes, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a very simple concept.
Yeah. I'm a dude.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
You gotta do the
I don't do a good Ed impression.
You do I was gonna say, you almost did a butthead there.
Yeah.
Damn it, Beavis.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Do it.
Fire, yeah.
Cornholio.
Mini cheapy
Damn it, Beavis, I'm gonna kick your ass.
That's not too bad. Mike Judge, man. You know, he was there was a lot of episodes that I remember seeing.
It's back on. I've actually been watching it lately.
I haven't seen the newer. I've seen clips.
I like that instead of doing all music videos,
They do the TikToks and shit too.
yeah, which is great because that material is so easy to make fun of sometimes. You know, so I think the downside is you're not being introduced to new music. That was a major benefit of the old Beavis and Butthead because it was current music, maybe stuff that was within the last 5 years old. So you don't get that exposure to music like you used to, but they're kind of balancing it out with the online, the TikToks and the YouTubes and stuff. The content is just as good. And the storylines are a little, the little cartoon storylines. They're okay. They're the same as they used to be, so it's not like they haven't evolved. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad.
It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. But it's just not.
It's all right.
It's just not
Right.
good. It's just not good.
I'm not saying it's like you have to go watch Beavis and Butthead, but it's almost like a continuation of the way it was before, which is cool. It's cool.
Honestly, I think with the times that we're living in, I think rebooting King of the Hill would have been more beneficial.
Boy, I tell you what.
Right?
Yep.
I'm like, yo, I want it. I kind of want it now.
So, but Brittany Murphy's dead. What do you do about that?
You get somebody to voice act for Luann.
That's true.
Sorry,
That's
Brittany.
true. Mila Kunis wasn't the first voice of Meg on Family Guy.
Nope.
I don't know the name of the first one, but I know it wasn't her.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few situations, I should say, where voice actors even changed. And some people are like, "Oh man, like I didn't even know." But let's think about the classics. Kermit the fucking Frog.
Kermit the Frog here.
Exactly. Jim Henson's fucking dead, bro.
Oh, so many people have done that voice.
Yeah.
Since him.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You
So,
know?
but Jim Henson's motherfucking dead, bro.
Mm-hmm,
So
that's
how the
true.
fuck-
All right. You made your point. That's true. But you can kind of tell that it's not the original voice. It has changed.
Elmo's changed now too.
Elmo
because,
has changed. You know what really pissed me off though? Cartman. Cartman's voice totally changed. I mean, they talk about it.
It's
in
voice
that,
modulator though.
Yeah, it wasn't before though. But I understand. Like, you can't just do that with your voice all the time. Like,
It hurts.
indefinitely. Yeah, it's not good. So they had to come up with an alternative, of course. I get it. But the old Cartman voice, so good. Like, it made that show. You watched the show because of Cartman.
Well, he was a whiny bitch, yeah. So it was kind of it played into it a lot. You know, talk about narcissist, right?
Cartman
like
is a fucking
Cartman. Oh my god! But he's like,
or a sociopath. I don't know.
Both. A sociopathic narcissist. But he's just in the narcissistic phase right now. Before he remember, because once he got to the Scott Tedderman level, that was sociopathic.
I don't watch a lot of South Park
All right, well, spoiler
anymore. I used to.
Okay, Scott Tedderman sold him pubes. All right,
Okay.
and so in return, at the end of the episode, he feeds Scott Tedderman his dead parents in Chile. And then he has his favorite band, Radiohead, come and visit him while he's crying over the bowl of his dead parents' chili. And then they make fun of him and walk away.
Oh man, that's show.
Right? Like, you're like sitting there like there's like, oh, there's even, oh wait, there's more. Oh, there's more to this. Oh shit.
They've kind of
Pushed the envelope a lot.
they're in Simpsons territory now, or they have been, because Simpsons, their longevity is based on their topical humor. What I mean by that is that, like, they put current events into in each week's episodes. So it's almost like a commentary on the times. That's why you watch it, because it's like satirical.
Yeah.
It's satire.
Definitely.
I could have summed it all up by saying satire way earlier.
Like, it's satire.
It's satire.
Yes, by definition, satire.
And I think there's a real value in satire too, because it forces you to see the absurdity in things. It doesn't tell you what to think. It just highlights the absurdity in kind of like what you're being spoon-fed.
Yeah.
I really can appreciate that. I'm glad there's someone out there like telling me that.
You gotta do it.
But they're not saying it outwardly. They're kind of like just making it obvious in a funny way, and you kind of walk away like, It leaves you thinking.
I've always appreciated the South Park for that.
Yeah,
sure.
but The Simpsons paved the way for that.
Definitely.
They
Yeah.
created the model essentially in that regard. I mean,
It got stale on me though.
Simpsons?
Yeah. And then I started rewatching a little bit of them here and there, like just on random episodes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know why I stopped. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I guess, like, at that time, I was just like, I don't know. I went through, like, phases where it's like, I don't really fuck with TV that much. Like, and then when people are like, oh, what are you watching on TV? It's like, I don't really watch TV that much. And then, like, I kept on a documentary, like, kick. Where it's like, okay, if it's in my house, I kind of want to watch something, like, you know, educational or something. Or, you know, or a biography on, like, somebody's life, you know. Or, you know, something that's, like, you know, I feel of like some type of value. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, you know, but then having the dick and fart jokes and the satire, it's definitely a nice filler. But there are times though that like people tell me some of the things that they're watching, and I'm like, yo, that's like I don't know anything about it. And then sometimes I like catch an episode just in like passing somehow, and I'm like, this is trash. What the fuck are you watching this?
Yeah.
This is trash. It's like it's just literally trash.
There's so much trash on TV. Like, I mean, honestly, admittedly, I watch a lot of it with my wife, but it's to spend time with my wife.
Yeah, and that's what. So you know what, and I think I'm gonna speak for the men on this one. You know what I mean? And maybe I just feel bold because my wife's not here and glaring at me about this one.
Okay,
but you know what?
Is she gonna listen back to this? Don't let her. Anyway, go ahead.
I'll block her. I'll block you. I'll block you from it. I'm not afraid to say what I'm saying, but like I'm gonna make a stand against trash TV. You know,
it's taking over. It's fucking everywhere. And Bravo is taking over.
And it's like, you know what? I don't want to watch any of this. And it's funny because even the child knows. She's like, yeah, we're not. Yeah, we can't watch that when he's around.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like they have their shows that they watch, and I'm like, you still watch that? It's like you're fucking intelligent. You know what I mean? Like
there's a couple that like I walk in, I'm like, why the fuck are you? This show is so fucking stupid.
This is dumb.
Like I tolerate a lot of what you watch, but this is just retarded. Oh, I don't like that word. Sorry, I apologize.
Well, it's kind of unless you're using it in the proper sense. But
I just avoid it altogether.
Okay, good. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
All right.
So apologies.
Good call. All right, but
tried to pull it back, but it already fell out.
Alaskan bush people. All right, breaking Amish and shit like that.
I know, I've seen those.
I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? And then it's like, why do I know this motherfucker's name now? And it's like, why? Because you've watched so many fucking episodes, and I've only scrolled so many times through my fucking phone.
I remember Breaking Amish. When it first... That's old. That's been out a while, right?
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know. I guess and I was watching some episodes and shit, and I was like, it's not
No, from what I remember, it was more like...
And then there's
fascinating than anything else, like the way they live, like a peek into their lives.
Whatever version of 90 Day you bought into.
Okay, that is one of the ones that I will watch with my fiance because those relationships are such. Oh my god! Thank you so much. My wife will never listen to this episode. Anyway. Oh my god. Listen. I've been married less than a year. Right, I was engaged for like 4 years.
I know. It takes a while.
Yeah.
It really does. Although, it took, I think, a couple weeks for me just to be like, wife.
No, I'm usually good with it. That was a first. It just happened to be on fucking...
Yeah, I was going to say, damn, man. Like, out of all the times, you're like, right? Yeah, fuck.
I don't even know what I was saying. That's
90 Day Fiance.
That's one of the shows that I will watch with my wife, and unfortunately, that means that I've seen so much of that show and all its iterations.
And then you almost become emotionally invested in their relationship, which I think in a sense, like you kind of sit there and you're like you put chips it's like a poker game. It's like, ooh, I bet on their relationship failing.
Kinda, yeah, we do that.
And
also those relationships are such train wrecks sometimes. It's just like makes you feel good about your own relationship. Like, all right, at least we're not like that.
Like, I can get down if the show was supporting cultural diversity, okay. But I think it's exploiting it. Like, and it's like, hey, how can we find the trashiest fucking situation? Okay, let's take the fucking, let's take
Big Ed showering.
Let's take Big Ed and put him with anybody. Just put him with anybody.
Showering with rats, pouring pots of water in his mayonnaise hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then,
Classic.
oh yeah, you know what? All right, so you know what? We need something risque. Why don't we take this lily white girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we put her in the Middle East?
Oh, her.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh. Yeah, see? See? Yeah, see, I caught things in bypassing too, and I'm like, yo,
but I had to watch all of that, so
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
That's a disaster. That's
I know.
that's one of the train wrecks that we're talking about.
Oh, I know. I
man.
know.
And then, do I dare say it? I can't believe I'm talking about this, but Vanderpump Rules.
Oh man, what
Especially
the fuck?
lately.
I never even heard about it up until like I think there was like a show that had somebody that was from that show on it, and I was like,
Okay.
what the fuck is that? And
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're like, oh, it's. I was like, I don't know anything about that.
But then, it burst the Bravo bubble when there was like a controversy, and it just exploded all over the internet. Like, you remember that? It was just a few months ago. That was, every day I'm getting updates texted to me,
I don't know what you're talking about. My algorithm does not feed me
Oh,
that.
you're so lucky. You're so lucky. And you know what? I'll tell you if you want to know, but I don't know if you want me to open that can of worms.
No, I don't want you to talk about that shit anymore because my phone is here.
If your wife was... Oh, my God. If your wife is here, she'd just be... Yeah, she'd be, like, all in this conversation.
Yeah. And it's the episode she's not here.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still not here, so I had
She's
to
going to
look at
regret
all
it. Say,
that.
babe, we talked about Vanderpump Rules on the show. Sorry, my mouth stopped working.
I was gonna say, I'm not. No, we're not fucking talking about that shit because my phone's gonna pick that up and then it's gonna start picking up and fucking searches and shit.
okay.
And I'm not. No, fuck you. Yeah, because I told you it wasn't in my
Slayer.
algorithm. Yeah,
Mastodon.
that's better. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. You know what? Oh, wow. You know,
Fish. Goose. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, my phone's like, that's definitely not going in there. And they were like, I know how John feels about Slayer. It's a 3-song limit. If I could get,
Do you ever get fish on your phone, on your algorithm?
No, it never comes up. Honestly, like even with the Spotify, and I've like played fish songs in here, from Spotify. So anything that I've played from my playlist, it's like, oh, well, we suggest that you listen to this. And then for a while, like because of the cover band and how old it was, there was like all these like classic recommendations and shit. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this old shit anymore. I already know about this shit. I want new shit. Recommend new shit. You know what I mean?
But do you really want to hear the new shit though? I don't have a lot.
I want to
faith
stay.
in it.
All right. So with the project that I'm working on right now, I kind of want my pulse a little bit closer to what's going on to see what people are consuming. Not in the sense that I need to jack, but I need to see what the attention spans are. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what's your what like, what kind of song structures are you fucking with? You know what I mean? Because if we're sticking strictly pop format, like, you know what I mean? I was like, then, I'll be all right with a few songs, you know what I mean? Because we understand how, to write a song. But then there are other times when it's like, is it beneficial to kind of stray from the path a little bit and get progressive there if you dare? And there's a lot of things that we initially started doing just to be purposely progressive.
Well, if that's what you want to be, I think that's what you should be.
And that's what, I've noticed, with each version that we fuck with, I go back and listen to the older version of it, and I'm like, okay, we just took that simple concept and just made it, like, really complex. But...
Well, that's usually how you do it. It's kind of based on something simple.
Yeah.
But to the listener, they're seeing the end result. They don't know the map that it was born from and the nucleus, that's very simple.
Well, based off the one of the second song, the second song, I think, might be the first song that we complete with the new drummer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the second song that I'm sending. We were Aunt and I had a conference about it, and we were talking about like the lyrics and shit that I wrote for it. And I was like, for this one at least, there's a lot of vocals that I kind of wanted to keep, and then there's like a way that I did with the first chorus where it kind of like bleeds right into the second verse in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where so I cut off a little bit of the chorus in vocal wise so that I can give it enough breathing space so that it goes right into that second verse.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want it to like.
So yeah,
you want it to be organic.
Yes, and that's the one thing. Like I wanted you to like kind of like almost like a whiplash effect. Mm-hmm. And I'll play the track for you. Mm-hmm. With the one drum, but like. It's with the shitty fucking garage band drums. So it's really bad.
Whatever, it's just a demo.
Yeah. But the newer version of what we're doing, though, is, kind of taking what we were trying to accomplish with the drum patterns, and now he's doing it with pick hand, with, like, economy picking and all this. I'm like, oh, okay. So he's getting fast with it.
Good.
And I was like, all right, good. But the lyric content, when I got back to it, I was like, what should I do about this? Like, should I start like rewriting things? What? And I got a compliment on my motherfucking lyrics, man. And I was like, oh shit. So I and for how deep he looks into a lot of other stuff, I could see it's like, okay, you saw the vision on that one. Because I was actually like, it was one of the first times I was actually straightforward with the message.
So, yeah, you definitely want to focus on...
Because I didn't want to pussyfoot anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
So
I don't want people to, like...
What changed about the song that made you think that you needed to rewrite anything?
Because when it gets down to creating something, I also... There's things that I like to listen to, mm-hmm. right? But then there's going to be things that I like to listen to, but then I will have to consistently perform.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, okay, this is fun, but, to duplicate this, you're talking about, that capturing of lightning in a bottle in that moment to capture that performance mm-hmm. every fucking night. Or you're running tracks with certain things, because of... Because what we're doing, especially with the third song that I'm going to possibly send, or where the vocal is the fucking rhythm. And the guitar right now is just ambient noise supplementing.
So that's... I was going to say that before. A couple things you want to focus on, like, are the rhythm. You want to complement the rhythm, not mimic the rhythm. All right, you can fill the spaces that are left for that the guitar leaves. He actually should be making room for you.
Well, that's what he's doing.
Okay, good.
Like, and that's what and when he told me, he was like, honestly, because we were just fucking around at practice mm-hmm. when we did have an old drummer named Chris. Mm-hmm. We were like, he was like tuning something, and he was just like, oh, he was done tuning, and then he was like fucking around with some shit, and then I was like, and I started singing shit, and he was like, yo, why don't we just keep that going for a minute?
Yeah, because you were clicking in that moment. The mood was, or the vibe. You were vibing.
Vibes.
You were vibing, as the kids say on the TikTok.
On the TikTok. Wow, you sound like the old uncle.
I don't get TikTok.
It's just MySpace. Or
no,
actually,
I know
it's like
MySpace.
Vine.
That's
it's
my.
It's like
era.
Vine. Remember Vine, dickhead?
No, I don't. I wasn't.
Oh my goodness.
Nope, wasn't even into Vine. I know. I'm very
old.
Yeah, dude. I'm
old soul.
I'm old.
But on the other tip,
maybe that's
though,
why I'm so bad at social media.
And I don't got fucking room to talk on that. Like, although with the project that we're working on, I have a feeling that it's gonna, unfortunately, kind of pull me towards being more social on it because it would behoove me to do so, especially in today's climate when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
I think I found a recording. And I was like, eh. So that was just like, and I was like, oh man, this sounds like a rock song.
This is the first time you're playing that?
For anybody, yeah, other than the band. Yeah.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, you asked me, hey, John, are you going to do any singing? Fuck yeah. Yes, I is.
You is.
Yes, I is. And as you heard from that, we were doing that shit back in 2016.
Okay.
So, like, we've been sitting on this song for a hot minute, but now, with certain aspects of Labyrinth, I really have gotten fucking stupidly introspective on this one. So, like, basically, like, if you don't get the feels from it, you have no soul, and you lost, and you need to be awoken.
That's deep.
Yeah, man. I've been sitting on some shit, and then the way I described it, especially when I was talking to the drummer, I was like, "Yo, this, that," and he was like, I was like, "All right, cool." And I was like, "What? You're cool with that shit? All right, cool." Can't wait till I get some demos and shit together, because then I'll be like, "Yeah, when y'all motherfuckers hear this motherfucking shit, this shit right here." Like that shit right here. And then Mike Frank and Friends has got a release coming, so like, yo, and honestly,
yeah, man,
the fact that y'all motherfuckers like, put that release out, like, I should say, like, you put the budget into a release, I should say, and you're going to release it to the public. But the fact that you did it, and you just did it, you know what I mean? You guys were just like, fuck it, we're just gonna fuck the pussy. What do you think? Let's just fuck it. You know what I mean? If we suck, it sucks. But you know what? Guess what? At least we tried to fuck that pussy.
Honestly, I wanted something. Though you were kind of talking about those songs are they're aged, and they get better with age. A lot of the songs on our 10-song album, I would say about 60 or 70% of them are 10 years and older. The oldest one being 20.
You guys had the chance to play them out. You had a chance to really test them out, too.
What I'm finding, what I'm realizing is this album is my life's work. I've been a musician my whole life, from the age of 10 when I first picked up drumsticks, until today. It's been a part of my life. And if, when I'm no longer here, though, that album that I'm very proud of will exist well beyond me, and so that's what this album's becoming to me. And the more we have to, I think we're going to send it back for one more edit, because what was supposed to be the final edit had some things that were just like, do we want to call that final?
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to sit on, like, where you're like, I just spent a lot of time. And, not only just,
so
monetary value,
mine
but
is a
sweat
ridiculous
equity.
thing. Mine is a ridiculous thing. So there's a spot in one of the songs where I have a drum fill. I'm like the only one playing in that one moment. And I end it with a sound effect. That sound effect, you can tell, was picked out from another spot and replaced. Or they did something to it, because it cuts off like so quickly, and it's very obvious. And because it's like a solo part, you are paying attention to it, so you notice that it like just gets cut off. So I really want them to just take one more pass at it and at least like give it some reverb.
Gotcha.
You know, it needs a tail of some kind.
Oh yeah, speaking of the tail, the Toilet Jam stuff that I have, I'm gonna release the I think it's just 4 now. I think it's just 4 songs.
Okay.
That were full lengths. So it's just gonna be a small EP. It was already a kind of a small EP, but it just had a lot of snippets kind of deals in it, like things that you could loop and have fun with. But apparently Distro Key said, "Fuck you, man. Fuck you. It's Sneepy. Nobody wants to pay for this shit." And I said, "Okay." So, but I've consolidated it down. I'm not gonna remix anything like that because I was like, I could sit there and fucking tweak with shit and fucking have fun all day. But you know what? I'm just gonna release the crazy ones. But I did find the first ever Toilet Jam, and that one is gonna go on the record. So
Nice.
it was, if you remember, it was a song that a rapper friend of our old co-host brought on the show, and I was talking to him about selling him a track.
Okay.
I don't know if you were there for the conversation though. I could have sworn you were there for the conversation, but a friend from our old show, definitely had a rapper friend that came in, did an interview, and we talked about, some tracks and stuff. And I was like, I got this idea that's kind of cool. I was like, he's like, well, and I was like, but the concept of which, I kind of came up with it kind of fucks with like interdimensional planes and stuff. And he's like, I could get down with that. And I was like, oh yeah? And I was like, so then I showed him the beat, and he's like, and we can like move shit around and make things longer. And I was like, well, yeah, I purposely made things that like they were just basically like dry loops that like you could just like chop up.
Add whatever effects you want.
Yeah, so you could just have fun with it. And but it is a song as it is, but it's just but you can extend those things. He's like,
man.
And yeah, it was kind of, but it never came to light. So I'm gonna put it out because it was a Toilet Jam, and I want that shit out. Although I thought about rapping on it, I was like, yo, I should write some raps, son. And I was like, yes, I should write some raps. And I was like, talk about the interdimensional planes and shit.
Well, I mean, you might be able to do it tastefully. Just don't try to be anything you're not.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't know. I like that. Like that's why I was talking about ghostwriting before we were recording the show. I was like, man, I got so much other shit that I like have idea wise that I could like literally ghostwrite 4 songs right now. You give me a good like 30 minutes, I could probably rework one of my songs into your jam band. Like I said, a good 30 minutes.
I bet. I bet anybody in our band can pick something out of one of your Toilet Jams and we could turn it into something.
Yeah, man. Well, because the whole idea of it was to kind of bud creativity. And like the one thing that I check the links that I thought was missing, which, you should only put a release out if you really want to, and if you truly feel like there's something missing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because then if you feel like there's something missing, then you're putting a missing piece to the puzzle. People have problems trying to cut their puzzle pieces to fit other pieces that they're molding to. And it's like, no, you just have to, if you know that you need to put something out, you know what shape it needs to be because you need to put it out. And then it's just organically finds its piece out in the fucking, the universe. And its overall puzzle, in my opinion. Everything that I have not pushed hard, right? Not in the sense of like being like, yo, we should do this. Like just being like, hey, I got these ideas. And it's like that got me more than the we should do something now, and we should do it before the fall. But now I'm still getting the timeline that I'm like I ultimately would like to have, but like it's also it's like, oh shit.
Well, I want
things are falling into place.
I wanted to have our album done before Music Fest, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's hard to, there's a lot of things. But let's see. Our friends in God Forbid, right? They're going on a boat. Going on a boat.
Are they playing on a boat?
They're touring on a boat.
So they're not just like, going deep sea fishing.
Yeah, it's like them, Lamb of God, and like it's like a headbangers boat. Yeah.
Is that really the name of it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's a pretty good name.
Yeah. But that shit was sold out pretty quick too. So they're out there. I think cool. In September or October, something like that. So. That's why I was like, yeah, all right. Timelines. All right. Our friends in Upon a Burning Body are releasing their first independent release. I think July 22nd is the first single. Their first independent release. So go out there, fucking pre-save it, fucking buy it. You know why? Because, you know why? They're fucking independently doing it now. Homies, man.
That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah, right now it's like, once you've established your fan base, which their listening base, especially on like Spotify, I think was like 500,000 monthly listeners.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, not bad for a deathcore band from Texas. Haha, the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. They get that they get everybody to sing that shit. State to state to state. They get motherfuckers to sing the fucking Texas fucking state song.
I mean,
everywhere they go. They brought that Texas pride and they brought it hard. Now I'm just waiting for a UABB Bucky shirt. Let's make it happen. But I want some Bucky Beaver nuggets, man. But let's get the fuck out of here because I'm starting to see we said the fucking F word.
That's
now,
what it
finally.
was. Hey, you did it.
I know. I broke the cherry. All right, but Hippie Soul will be back next episode. I guess there was just a lot of things to be had. Not only that, I guess there was some groceries to be had because I did get a text of like, "Hey, what kind of energy drink did you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit. I guess you really are going grocery shopping as well." So,
well, she said she was gonna.
Well, she was like, "I'm gonna rush back," and I was like, "Oh, sure."
Well,
I know.
You know how the grocery shopping can be.
Indeed, but she's here in spirit.
That's cool.
And so dabs up to the lady of Devil's Den Radio. Shout out to Clown Spaz on his twitching, so check that out, gaming style. And remember to always stay metal, be metal,
but recycle.
Bitches.